Hi everybody. Welcome. I'm Dr. Alan Arnette. I am the owner and procurer of Parkview Health and Wellness Center. Personally and professionally, I am on a journey through my entire life to find the essence of what makes us healthful. And typically this means going into the more traditional medicines. And part of traditional medicine is that food is medicine. And nothing represents that more than spices. So upon my journey to try to bring to you, either as a patient or as a viewer today, something that is really passionate of mine, a friend and colleague of mine, Natasha MacAller, has written a new book called SPICE HEALTH HEROes. Hi, Natasha.
Hi, Dr. Arnette.
Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about how you got into spices specifically.
I've always loved spices. I've always, being from California, Mexican spices, but intrigued with curry and all of those lovely flavors, cardamom, and also that they have nutritive value and health benefit. And having been a professional ballerina, I was a little obsessed about food way back then, as I am today.
I would imagine so, for both performance and for visual. For one of the things we know about health is that health oftentimes is what brings about our beauty as well. So let's get right to it. Today we have prepared 3 recipes that we think will be somewhat familiar to you, but there's definitely a different spin put on it today. Let's start with our first one, the turmeric tisane.
Okay, it's a very simple, delicious tea. I'm going to take a little bit of, usually ingredients, I'm going to take a little bit of a cinnamon stick or quill, and I'm going to first dump these spices in. We've got orange, ginger, turmeric, which is, it looks like carrots, but it isn't. And I recommend using a glove if you're going to use fresh turmeric, because it's also used as a clothing dye. And I'm going to take a cinnamon stick.
One second, I'm going to pause here. The recipes are available on the website, and I'm just going to read it so that you can see each of these individual fun ingredients. We have an actual orange peel that we peeled with like a regular potato peeler. We have some nice few pieces of ginger, very familiar ginger, not even cleaned, just cut up and washed. A star anise pod, fresh turmeric, and that's what she was talking about, to make sure you protect your hands and your clothing. And then the fun thing here is some cardamom pods. Cardamom pods are very interesting because they have such a good effect on the mucus coating of our upper intestinal tract and our upper respiratory tract, and can be very helpful in the winter times for different types of lung conditions. And lastly, we have some black pepper. Again, the recipe's on the website, parkview.com. Now, go ahead.
So I'm taking, in order to just add a little more flavor and activate the oils in the cinnamon, I'm just taking a cinnamon stick and putting it over a flame. You can also do it in a pan, in a dry pan, and just cook it until you can smell it. And this is super quick. This is all ready to go.
And what you can't tell is the smell is just unbelievable from this fresh cinnamon filling the air.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely.
So
love it.
that's ready to go. And we're going to add some hot water to the pot.
Okay, excellent. So to our simple little pot, we're just going to pour in the equivalent of about 1.5 cups to 2 cups of water. And turn it on.
This one. Then I'm just going to add the cinnamon stick in here.
There's a nice little sizzle when that fire burns onto that. So now, the thing is that now needs to cook for about 30 minutes. Once you bring it to boil, reduce it to simmer.
Yes.
Great. So let's go ahead and turn that off for a moment, because with the magic of video, we can have it ready for us, and it's perfectly ready. So this is the same ingredients that we've already got ready, but there's one more step.
One more step. We have a little bit of coconut milk that we're going to add to the tea. And Dr. Arnette's going to explain why we want to add a little bit of fat to our turmeric.
So what she said is we're going to use coconut milk. In this case, we used fresh coconut milk that you find in the carton, the kind that would be in the dairy section of a grocery store, that has a lot of water content, so it makes a nice light texture. It's not that heavy stuff from the can, yet it is enough fat. For a little bit of history, turmeric, which has been used for thousands of years throughout the world, has been found to be better absorbed, this is mostly from just an observational finding, when there is a little bit of fat, and today we're going to use coconut milk, and a little bit of black pepper. As a quick side note, if you're taking turmeric as a supplement, make sure If it's turmeric, you need the fat and the pepper. And if it's just curcumin, you don't need it. The curcumin is 20% of the turmeric itself, and that in itself does not need the fat or the black pepper. But more about what we're doing here is we're about to froth it so that we can make something quite delicious out of our tea. While she's frothing that, what I'm going to do is take the tea that is now made and pour it into a glass. And this just smells so aromatic. It's just absolutely amazing, the smells that you can get from this. Now, honey is a to-the-tooth or personal preference. If you so chose, you could use stevia drops instead of honey. Today we're using 100% natural, raw, organic honey. And I'm going to use about a teaspoon, maybe a tiny bit less. That is a personal preference. But you might want to remember that raw honey actually has a great deal of medicinal value, particularly as a mild antibiotic and antimicrobial in the digestive tract. And for some reason, when you take raw honey and lemon and hot water, it helps the lungs too. And we now have more scientific proof that honey has a great deal of healing properties in usually the antimicrobial category.
And I'm ready to pour the
all right, excellent. So she's going to take that over to the sink. I've frothed a little bit of coconut milk, about a cup. Again, this will all be in the recipe for you. And voila, we have a beautiful little tisane. Can you tell me what tisane is?
Tisane is a tea, but not using tea leaves. It's just a combination of spices, and you can use, as we use lemon, orange, citrus, and so you don't have the caffeine. It's just
well, terrific. Let's try dish number 1, turmeric tisane. Oh.
Yum.
Oh, very delicious. Very well balanced, actually.
And it's really good with the change of weather. It helps your immune system, and it's comforting, and it also clears your sinuses.
While I set us up for the next one, why don't you tell us your little story about your photo shoot and this particular tea?
Oh, I was doing a book signing photo shoot, and 2 of the people got the change from fall to winter flu, and I made this turmeric tea, and they sipped it, and they were absolutely felt comforted and relaxed, and it cleared out their sinuses because so used a lot less, had to use a lot less tissue.
That's called on-the-job training, as far as I'm concerned. Wonderful. I absolutely love that. After this live video on our website, we're going to have a little bit of about a 10-minute conversation she and I are going to have to fill in some of the gaps. But to stay on point, recipe number 2 is our tropical turmeric smoothie.
Yes, this is so delicious and so simple. It's a perfect way to get started if you're in the morning when you're doing you're going to do a run or a bike ride, or you're just going to get in your car and get on the freeway. It's super quick to put together. It really sets you up for the day, and it's just filled with beautiful fruit and coconut milk. So I'm going to put that together.
Great. As she grabs the freezer items, I'll read the recipe to you. We're going to be using, continue in this recipe, we will use some raw turmeric. This is just sliced from the grocery store, cleaned but not peeled. Again, with some ginger, as much or as little as you like, though we do have some recommendations on the recipe. So it starts with fresh mango and fresh pineapple. Now she went ahead and froze it so it gives a nice texture. If you don't really care that much about the texture, you don't necessarily need to freeze it, but it does add some nice body to the final product. Today, we actually got these from Trader Joe's. For those of you who need to save time, we did not have the opportunity to go and get a fresh pineapple and mango perfectly seasoned and freeze it. We did buy these pre-made. So we put in the skin of the orange. Now notice that's unusual. Some of you, we're putting in the whole skin into this.
And then a bit of fresh ginger. You can peel it or not peel it. Then we've got some of our turmeric, which is more readily available than it's ever been.
Increasingly so, and in organic.
We're going to give it a little bit of black pepper and cardamom, so cracked black pepper.
Now, cracked black pepper is not much. It's about 1/8 of a teaspoon or less. And about how much cardamom?
It's about 1/4 of a teaspoon.
1/4 of a teaspoon. These are concentrated spices, and you can get too much. So start with the recommended amount, and then you can adjust up or down as you make this yourself. What are you adding now?
I'm adding half a lime. And you can add more or less to taste.
Lime is very effective. Like lemon, it's citrus, but it has unique properties. It's really good at helping to keep blood sugar stable, and it adds that nice tropical taste to give that flavor that's so supportive of pineapple and mango.
And then I'm adding some coconut milk.
Now this will be cooled coconut milk, so this isn't needing to be frothed or warmed up. That was for the warm tea. Here, this is just straight out of the carton as we used it, the fresh coconut milk.
And then you can even freeze the coconut milk if you want it a super smooth, super duper smoothie, like a thick shake. And I'm just going to add some ice, and we'll pop the.
So in this case, today we're going to use a NutriBullet so that it becomes a single serving. It's going to make some noise, so give me just a moment, please. All right, this got really nice and cold. Let's give it one more shot. All right, so we have a nice practical icy here. We actually may need to add a little bit more coconut milk.
Oh,
I think we ended up with a little ice.
Oh boy, does that look good? Oh, let's need a spoon.
Let's taste it. So see, there's no way to make it wrong. It looks like it turned out like ice cream. It tastes like a sorbet. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, that's what we're having today is sorbet.
Oh yes.
So we're going to make this as a nice sorbet. So what would have kept it liquid was not adding the ice. And so we'll have a nice bit here. This is what you call improvisation, not only on today's video, but in the kitchen. Go ahead and
a little bit of chia seeds, which adds a bit of protein and fiber and crunch. Super good for the digestion. Right, Dr. Arnette?
Yes. Oh my gosh, chia seeds add great fiber, and they add an interesting texture as well. Well, here we go.
Here we go.
Tropical turmeric smoothie or sorbet.
Yum.
Oh, that is so interesting. The balance of the cardamom and the black pepper are really in the background, but they add a distinguishment that makes this very unique. I really challenge you guys to go give this a try.
And this, the photographer who shot this dish in the book, it's her favorite, absolute, excuse me, favorite dish.
Delicious, delicious. All right, for our last quick entree, wrong word, appetizer we'd like to share with you. And we have, let's do a quick wipe. We have our next recipe, which is avocado toast, very familiar dish, but really delicious, with pink peppercorns and a unique little way of preparing it that I think that you will like and feel inspired.
So, we start with, just to make it cute, I started with a bit of sourdough bread that I toasted and brushed with olive oil. And I'm going to take the avocado.
And while you start slicing it, one of the things that I found make this interesting is the usage of radish. Radish is a really good intestinal cleanser. It actually helps to clear any gallbladder or stagnant energy and mucus in the stomach. And it can be really tasty when you do something as simple as pour some apple cider vinegar, or in this case white vinegar, over the match-sticked.
Ooh, that pepper got me.
Well, what that's going to do is open up your sinuses, right? Yeah, the whole head is clearing. That's the medicinal part. So even if that does happen to you, just keep using your moisture inside to let that effect go through. That's part of what spices are about. So the radish, when made into little matchsticks, pour over some vinegar, pinch of salt and sugar, this is in the recipe, makes us a quick little pickle. So we're going to have pickled radish. Now the pickled radish to me is a very unique thing to add, and yet from a health standpoint, I have to tell you, it's an awesome combination for helping the fats of the avocado and even to some extent the starchier proteins inside the coarse bread to actually break down a little bit more. It's adding the flavor of the culinary sour taste to actually digestively break down the fats.
So I'm going to add a bit of radish.
So we have toast, we have some avocado slices, a little bit of the radish pickle, And then here's the interesting finish. Take it away.
A little bit of feta cheese.
Feta cheese is delicious. That's found in the grocery store already crumbled up. You could choose goat cheese if you like.
A bit of parsley.
A little bit of parsley. That's nice and classic.
Some peppercorns.
Now here's what's interesting. These are pink peppercorns. You probably can't see the red here, but these are red and are going to have a different aroma and a different taste on the palate.
A little parsley, and then we're going to finish it with a little black cumin.
And what's this?
Oh, that's the date sugar that goes into the...
Oh, I'm sorry. And when I said a pinch of sugar, that was my error. I didn't tell you. We have date sugar here, not just regular white sugar. The white sugar would work for those of you, but really date sugar is a little bit less processed and it's going to work slower in your body, making better sugar regulation. It's still just a pinch. So once this is all put together, we have this beautiful presentation. Absolutely awesome. Now she's made it on these gorgeous little toast points. This could also just be slathered home style on a single piece of bread. And what I'd like to do then, are you making one for you?
I am.
Oh, well,
Excuse me.
Let's get you a sip of tea.
Yes.
So the thing that you can see is that this is also probably pretty easy for kids to do because it's mostly just assembling a few things. The key with spices, though, is to not get too much spice. We want to get that right balance. So the recipes here are going to give you a good starting point. So as we bring our presentation today to a conclusion, I'd like to sample this beautiful meal that we prepared. Poor little body is still having its reaction. Now again, if this happens at home, what we would want to do is to let that reaction benefit because her lungs will start to clear. There's some water if you'd like some water. And I'm glad that this happened because oftentimes these things happen, then we think something went wrong. So to be able to see the chef and the doctor go, yeah, that happens sometimes with cracked pepper. Now, can you use that pre-flaked pepper? That stuff doesn't have much oil in it and doesn't have much real benefit. If pepper's not your favorite, use just a little bit. That's why we're bringing this to you, to inspire you. So let's take a little bite of this delicious presentation. Mmm. Mmm.
Yum.
Mmm. Mmm.
Simple, delicious.
Mmm. I have to tell you, the pickled radish and the feta cheese and the avocado went together beautifully to give a nice texture and a beautiful taste in the mouth. This recipe is a winner. So to bring a conclusion to this, I want to say thank you all for tuning in, and special thanks to my friend Natasha MacAller for bringing these recipes. You can find the recipes on our website, these three recipes, parkviewwellness.com and dancingchef.net. Here's the book so that you can see it. It is available at major retailers.
Yes, it is.
Amazon, those types of places. I will have a few of these in my clinic with her personal signature for those of you who want to come to the clinic and get one that has been personally signed. But mostly I want to conclude by saying that it is the inspiration that any more today gets us back in the kitchen. Most of us can make avocado toast. Most of us can make some kind of tea. But which tea? And how to make it flavorful and helpful.
Yes. And make it beneficial for you, but simple. We like simple. And this is one of the best teas for every day.
Well, thank you very much for coming and joining us. We're going to go ahead and conclude today. But in just a minute, we're going to then clear up and we're going to have about a 10-minute conversation and enjoy what we've made. So please join us in this will be a prepared video, not live. It'll be available on the websites probably by tomorrow on Friday. Yes. From my heart to yours.
And from mine to yours.
And to all of you out there, thank you for joining us. There'll be more than